Hey folks, Leith again, just following up with part 2 of the end of this age where the human species and the planet has been ruled by a small group of people. So again, before we dig into the charts, just a quick prayer for all souls on and off planet, for Mother Earth herself, beautiful Mother Earth that's doing such an amazing job at sustaining everything and at the same time detoxing herself right now. To POTUS and all the teams that are helping at this time to clear the planet and bring forth the new. Immense thanks and gratitude, and I give immense thanks that I am safe in my home, and I hope that you are doing the same. Okay, I had mentioned that I would go into the return of Saturn to the time that JFK was assassinated. So let's take a look at that. So if we look at the date here of the assassination of JFK as President of the United States in 1963, November 22nd, Dallas, Texas, we can see that Saturn was at 17 degrees and 19 minutes. Now, Saturn has an orbit of 29.5 years. It gives us the 3 trimesters of our life. When it does a 90-degree angle to itself, it gives us a 7-year itch. Saturn rules our life more than you can possibly imagine. It's generally thought of as a rather austere energy, and it is, because its job is to manage structures in our life. With structure in our life, we can make things happen. If we don't have structures when living in a third dimensional reality like planet Earth, then things can't happen. So it's constantly imposing limitations so that we bring forth projects, and it also destructs projects. If they're built on sloppy, muddy ground, then they're not going to survive through to the next stage. A classic thing to be aware of is, for example, a marriage. Every event has its own birth chart, so its own Saturn cycle begins. A marriage begins at the date of the ceremony, and 28, 29, 30 years later, one partner is done. They feel done with their marriage and they leave it, and the other partner is devastated. And they come for a reading, saying, is my marriage going to come back together? And really the answer is no. If it didn't survive through the Saturn return, then chances are exceedingly remote that it can be rebirthed into a new Saturn cycle. So let's look at the first Saturn return of 29.5 years of when the shooting happened for JFK, and that will take us over to April 19, 1992. Now, we don't need to worry about the exact day and time of a cycle that is 29.5 years. Energies morph in and out over a longer period of time than the exact moment in time for something such as this. So what happened in around this time frame, 1992? Well, again, we had a largely global event, which was the LA riots, which was an injury to the head, which was Rodney King, who was pulled from his vehicle and beaten about the head. Now, that was presented to the world, and rightly so, as not only a race relations issue, but a matter of just simply being able to live on the planet without being accosted and beaten basically in the street. It was a horrific incident, and I know the planet is filled with many horrific incidences. And so now, as we round the astrology to the next Saturn return, we've had another whole cycle pass by. And let's take a look at what's going on. So will we be saying that this cycle is going to end, where the Saturnian rulers of what has been happening are going to be stood down? Their time is up. So if you go back to the Pluto reading that I did just prior to this, we can see that it's very much turning the tables. Saturn in Aquarius is about the authority. Saturn rests with the people. Aquarius. Aquarius is all about humanity. This is what JFK was trying to do. He was trying to implement a people-owned currency away from the privately owned privately owned Federal Reserve, which is an absurdity that a small group of people would own the currency on the planet and that the rest of us would be in debt to them. That is an absurdity. That is such an extreme violation of divine law that in time, divine law is going to come up and rebalance the situation. And that is what is unfolding right now. And divine law will win. So let's just take a quick look and see what is going on here. This is the original chart of the event of the assassination of JFK. We can see that at the top of the chart, the main figurehead from this event experienced a sudden Uranus death, Pluto, and that there was a lot of information and chaos and tall stories being told at the time, which we know to be the case. So if we look here, we can see that Saturn entered Aquarius November 24th, 2019. It's on its way to, it's under the command of humanity now, and we can see everything unfolding. It's on its way to this position again. Let's take a quick look. So we can see this was at the 20th of January 2020, we were at 23 degrees of Saturn being in Capricorn. It's now moved into the 1 degree mark of Aquarius. So as this Saturn return to the first original event continues to unfold, we can expect to see the end of an era. We had an injury to the head that resulted in death in 1963. We had an injury to the head in 1992 that resulted in a huge dialogue about what is an appropriate form of behavior on our planet. And let's hope that this injury to the head is the cutting off of the head of the beast, basically, so that we don't have to keep going around this cycle anymore. So profound times, big love to everyone on the planet. Lots of love and blessings.